Now, here's one of the tactics animal use to communicate with us. They use a mirroring or modeling behavior. So, like my little boy cat, every night between 7 and 8 o'clock at night, he's either crying upstairs or he's patiently waiting downstairs for me to come play with him because I don't have the best relationship with his computer. I'll grind too long. I'll be on it too long. And his lesson for me is break out of your garbage, like stop doing things that are not productive and come and play.
Yeah.
Right. So that's what he does for me. So that's a modeling behavior he gives me. With this
Okay.
young lady, there is a mirroring behavior, right? Like you're angry about a thing. I'll be angry about a thing too. Here's how I express anger. I bite people, right? Where this lady was just mad. She
Yeah.
was just sort of mad.
The mirroring thing is like definitely, I think we all know this intuitively. Like happened very recently. Like dogs do this a lot, right? Like I was in an elevator and I see the dog and I'm like, it's a dog in an elevator. I want to like say hello to the dog, but I went down to say hello and the dog pulled back. And then I noticed the owner and I look at the owner and the owner is someone who just did not want to acknowledge, like with eye contact, no smile, just stared straight ahead. I'm
Yeah.
like, that dog just learned from the owner to be cold and fearful of humans. Like I can tell, I can see that this person doesn't want to interact with people, doesn't like people, probably doesn't trust them.
Yeah.
And then the dog, you know, like there's like some kind of like they somehow mirror human energy, right? It's
Yeah.
fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah. And so here's the other thing, like that may have been going on, or like you could have come in a little too hot with
Oh,
your
and
energy forward.
one other thing I need to get out there while I was thinking about it.
Yeah.
I saw a dog, and I had this conversation many times. I lived with a guy briefly, who was very mentally ill. His mental health was in shambles.
Hmm.
His dog was only like 2 or 3 years old. This should be like a happy, active dog. The dog was acting like it was like near the end of its life because
Yeah.
the dog took on his depression with him.
Totally. Absolutely.
I
Yeah. I mean,
like I told people
yeah.
this. I've told this story multiple times, you know?
Yeah. It's a thing.
It
Yeah.
is a
I mean,
thing.
it's totally
Like,
a thing.
so
I
this
mean,
is
how many
like
times?
some of these experiences make me like fully believe some of the like all this stuff that you're talking about, you know? So
Yeah. I mean, you're seeing it out there. I mean,
yeah.
the way I phrase it with folks is like, how many times have you heard that my dog is so lazy while he sits on the couch all day while I play
Yeah.
video games,
You're just
right?
saying
Like,
I'm lazy. That's literally all you're saying is I'm lazy. You know?
right, right.
Like the
Like
dog
your
doesn't want to
dog is
walk.
just,
No, you don't want to walk.
that's right. Yeah.
You
Your dog
know?
is just doing what you're doing. It's just mirroring what you're
Yeah.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a woman who showed up and she said, my dog doesn't go out at night, doesn't like to go outside at night to go do its business before we go to sleep. So I want to talk to you about that and some other things as well. And so we're talking, and I said, well, help me understand, like what happens. Walk me through what goes on at night. Okay, well, it's 9 o'clock at night. I get the dog. Dog's not on a leash. I walk the dog up to the door. You open the door, and I tell the dog to go outside to do the business. And then what happens? The dog sits there and looks at me. Okay. Well, how do you feel about going outside? Oh, I think it's scary. Hmm. But it's okay for the dog. Well, yeah, because you can go out there, run out, pee on the bush, and run back in. Okay. So let's talk about communication with the animal. So there's three things that are very important here when and she's taking notes. You need to be really clear with your words. You're very clear with what you're saying. Go outside and go pee. We're going to bed. Okay. And you need to visualize that. So for example, different story. Like if I yell at my little boy cat to get off the coffee table and to get onto the couch, that's confusing. I may be seeing coffee table, envisioning coffee table or the couch. It's not consistent with what I'm saying, right? So you got to be clear with what you're saying and see what you're saying, so it's clear. And then the third piece, which is what she had, is you got to feel what you're saying. And so she's saying go outside. She's obviously opening up the door, saying go outside. It's like right over there. So she's visualizing that. But on the inside, she's going, it's dangerous out there. afraid to go out there. And the dog's like, 2 out of 3, not a pass. Right? Doesn't work. Mm-mm. Nope.
Oh my God, that's so funny. So
So, right. So,
yeah.
so like, well, how do I get the dog to go outside? You need to be okay. You need to be okay with going outside. And so now we get into a conversation of, well, what are the things that you're currently not doing because fear is holding you back?
Mhm.
Right. So now it turns into this different conversation. Oh man, really? Like I had no idea this was going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen either, but this is what showed
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yeah.
like, do you have to sometimes get into like therapy type of stuff where you're like, look, like it must happen often where you're like start touching on something personal and you're like, this is not what I'm here for or whatever, right? Like that must happen frequently, right? Because people use animals and pets to fill a void, right? And like
Yeah.
maybe not properly deal with something going on, right? Like,
Yeah. I mean, they could be super supportive, right? They could be super supportive, or like anything else that's available to us, drugs, alcohol, TV, we could use them as a crutch,
yeah,
right? And not address that thing that needs addressing.
right, right.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, because that dog I lived with who was depressed, she was eating garbage
Oh
all
man.
the time, you know? And like it wasn't necessary. She had food out, I think. She just liked garbage. And I always wondered like what led to that behavior, you know?
Yeah,
So,
interesting. Yeah. So was this person putting something in their body that was bad for them?
oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
a
So
lot of
like
that.
you can start to see very quickly,
Yeah.
yeah, the mirroring and modeling.
Right, right.
Hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's yeah.